Bowl season is here. Are you ready to cash in on what you know? Where you play is as important as what you play. The pros play at mybookie.ag. All the lines, odds, and plays, both college and pro, all at mybookie.ag. Play where you get paid super fast and there's never a hassle. Step up and mybookie.ag will match your deposit with up to a 50% bonus. Use promo code JJ50 to activate the offer. Don't leave the money on the table. mybookie.ag, promo code JJ50, and your first deposit is matched up to 50%. Play where the pros play because they get paid. mybookie.ag.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head to death. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me a boom.
He is Jalen Anthony Rose.
What up, doe?
I'm David Dowling Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in, center stage on the mic.
And we putting it on wax.
What do we do?
We get the people what they want.
Part of giving people what they want is giving our podcast listeners, our favorite group of listeners. You know what? I love our podcast listeners. I love it when I see people and they say that they listen every day. I'm like, man, they probably know more about me than some of my closest friends.
No doubt.
Thank you. Welcome to this community. And part of giving you what you want is not just giving you some recycled television content. We had a TV show today. We were preempted from radio. So, of course, we always will give you a dope pod to step to. And part of giving the people what they want is finding out what the people want. So if you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us voicemails. If you go to our Twitter, you can tweet at us, and we'll read questions from that in the show. We also have a very active Reddit community. So if you go to the Reddit page, you can leave us questions there. I was on the Reddit page just earlier today. Jalen, I'm looking at our Twitter feed, and one of our producers has struck a chord with the different tiers of pets. That's what's happened. One of our producers claimed that a lizard was a tier 2 pet, which is a different tier of pet that you barely even doesn't speak to you, doesn't respond to you when you speak to it.
And I'm rolling with the producer on that one.
I am rolling with the producer on that one. So, next question. Are koi a tier 2 pet because they swim after you when you're going to feed them? Do you know what koi is? A koi pond? Those goldfish?
I do know what a koi pond is.
Okay, there you go.
I've had one of those.
Yeah, rich people know what koi are.
They work really well in Vegas and places where it get hot. Have them right outside in front of the deck.
Yeah, it looks nice.
In the crib, have some rocks in there.
What tier is koi?
I love fish.
Oh, okay. To eat or to have around?
Both.
Okay.
I love fish. I keep a fish tank. Since I can't have a dog, I travel too much. I would say, under this premise, I'm rolling with you and the producer, but I got to say a fish tank and fish are tier 1.
No, they're tier 2.
They're tier 1.
Someone sent us this. This is LeBron James posted a picture of everybody at his little camp. You know, he has this little mini LeBron James camp. Kendrick Perkins is there.
Perk.
What do you think Perk flew out for? Does he know he's not in the Cavs?
No. Perk trying to keep getting them checks.
Yeah, he is.
What do you mean? What is he doing? He ain't on the roster. LeBron, like, y'all need to look at him. Bring my big fella to camp. I need a bodyguard around here.
Next, we have this question from our man Big Crown. Big shout to Big Crown. Love Big Crown. Soft move or boss move, getting barber college haircuts to save money. You know this place. They have one on 3rd Avenue in Manhattan where it's like a barbershop school and they got a big sign that says $6 haircuts. And I'm going to say this. A $6 haircut is like a 25-cent taco or a $1 slice of pizza. I don't want it. I don't want things that are too undervalued. I want to pay at least $1 for a taco. That's it. I don't want 50-cent tacos. I want $1 tacos.
I've been consistent with this my entire life. If I can't get a crisp cut, I just won't get one. So you already know which way I'm going on this topic.
I can tell. If you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us voicemails. If you leave us a voicemail, we'll play it on the show just like this.
What's up, Jalen Jacoby? Name's Jake, calling from Orange County, and I was just listening to the Wednesday pod, and Jacoby's talking about upgrading his wife's ring, and I'm only 18, so I don't really know much about the wedding and engagement process, and this kind of caught me off guard. I had no idea there was a difference between the wedding ring and the engagement ring. I don't know. I might be dumb for not realizing that. But I was just wondering, could you guys just explain that to me? Because that makes no sense to me. I thought they were the same thing. Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. Keep giving the people what they want.
You know, like I always say, we all have intellectual blind spots.
No such thing as a dumb question.
No such thing as a dumb question. I didn't know that there was a separate ring between the engagement ring and the wedding ring for quite some time, probably until I was like 30. Here's the thing. What you always think about is the getting down on one knee and then giving the woman the ring, right? So that's always that cliched moment where you get down on a knee, you surprise her, she's crazy, she said yes, everyone's happy. That is the engagement ring. You give that ring before you are married. During the wedding, you both, this is just traditional, everyone's got their own thing, so like don't at me, okay? In generally speaking, during the wedding, you give each other wedding bands. The wedding band usually doesn't have a big old diamond on it. That's the engagement ring. The wedding band is a complimentary ring, so a woman who is married sometimes will wear both the engagement ring and the wedding ring. Like my wife has 2 rings on all the time. I wear 1 ring. Jake, no such thing as a dumb question.
No.
Let's listen to another voicemail, Reg.
Jalen and Jacoby, what up, though? Quick question. One thing I keep hearing this NBA offseason is that the Clippers are still going to be, quote-unquote, good in the regular season. Who is going to create on that team? And by create, I mean shots for others. Austin Rivers can create a shot for himself. Patrick Beverley can create turnovers. But is he going to be able to set up Blake and DeAndre? Thanks so much, guys. Keep giving the people what they want.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate the love.
Shout out.
I don't think the Clippers are a championship contending team, but I think they're going to be a lot better than people anticipate.
Yes.
And I'm going to start up front because he didn't mention somebody that's going to play a huge role in this. Danilo Gallinari.
Yep.
He's 6'10". He can dribble, pass, and shoot. I know he has an injury right now. Punched somebody during a game this summer.
He said he should be ready for training camp.
Blake Griffin is also a creator from the forward position. Can play small 5 against certain teams. He averages around 5 assists consistently. And creativity a lot of times can truly take place when guys can get shots off the dribble. So while Austin Rivers, and you didn't mention an important person in this call, Lou Williams, both can get their own shots off the dribble. And the way they can play one-on-one and score in flurries, especially Lou Williams, that now opens it up for everyone else. So I think they'll be just fine in that department.
Also, Blake Griffin is a good passer. You know, he's a good passer. And one thing they like to do with Blake a lot is they'll run a high pick and roll with him. He'll get the ball right around the free throw line, and hopefully he's got a decision. There's a defender there with the decision to come at him and stop his penetration, which means he lobs it up to DeAndre, or stick to DeAndre, which means Blake scores. They do this. It works really well. And Blake will pass. So you can just have Pat Beverley bring up the ball, dump it to Blake with 15 feet from the basket, 17 feet from the basket, and he can face up and start the offense like a guard can. Thank you so much for the call. We're going back to the tweets. Jalen Rose. This is from the Cerebral Assassin. He hits us up a lot. Shout to him. I want you to answer this immediately because there's only one right answer. What type of crust do you like for your pizza? I've never seen you try harder. I've never seen you try harder. I've never seen you think harder.
But
for
I ain't
a
mad
question.
at the deep dish either.
I ain't mad at the deep dish. That's
dish.
not pizza. The deep dish is just gross. It's disgusting. You're so hungry. You go to Chicago. You're like, I'm going to get a deep dish pizza. They bring you out the pizza. You have 3 bites, and you're like, what am I going to do with the rest of this pizza? It's just cheese on cheese on cheese. I am not with the deep, no. And pie crust, it's all flaky and sugary. Buttery. No, thank you. No, thank you,
but
Chicago
I love
pizza.
seafood pizza, and it comes deep dish.
I did try the seafood pizza when we were in Detroit. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. I didn't think it was going to be that good. It was pretty good.
Pizza
it was like,
Pizzapopolis.
It was like paella on a pizza. I really enjoyed that. This is from Uncle Mar. We've gotten this question a lot.
Shout out.
So I'm going to ask it. Putting sugar in your grits instead of salt. Soft move or boss move?
Boss move. Did it for years.
I would never put sugar in grits.
Did it for years.
I would never put. I think that might be cultural. I don't know.
Did
I'm not a
it for
big grits
years.
guy. You know, Northeast we don't do a lot of grits, but whenever I have grits, it is butter, salt, maybe some cheese. I like cheese on there. Great. Another great question from the Cerebral Assassin. Yes or no question. Has Molly ever put a do-rag on you?
No. I just started wearing it 6 months ago.
No, all of a sudden you became the authority on do-rags.
I'm not the expert at all.
You are a do-rag rookie. You've got a 10-day do-rag contract.
No doubt.
You are not the veteran in the do-rag locker room. I'll tell you
doubt.
that much. Next, we always got to ask a question from Goran. These are like our producers, for real.
Shout out.
What are the most underrated jobs? Is being a teacher one of them? Thanks for showing your appreciation for my profession. Much love.
I would say there's levels to this.
Okay.
Those that put their physical being and lives at risk each day is a whole different level for me. So it's military, fire, police.
Sure.
That's one level. Then it's the other level of people that I feel like are underappreciated, educators. Think about this. It's one thing to get one individual to learn something, and parents out there know what I'm talking about, regardless of how old your son or daughter may be. Imagine leading a classroom of 30 to 50 individuals.
It's crazy.
Each day that you're trying to get to learn, be disciplined, be patient when they spend more time at home than they do in school. So a lot of times you have to decompress the student because whatever's going on in their lives, you now have to find a way to create that level of trust, create that level of a relationship that now all of a sudden that you can educate them. So, man, I know we live in a country that values sports, and I'm happy that I played and I now cover it, but those teachers should be getting at least six-figure salary.
They should.
Especially the good ones.
I didn't really appreciate educators until I had a child, and I look at these people, and I'm just like, my child spends 40 hours a week with you, and you are as influential. I don't spend 40 hours a week with my child. You are as influential in his life or their lives more than anybody else in the world. My child is one of the most important things on this planet to me, and they spend so much time with him, and they care about him so much. I really appreciate them and all educators around the world, including you, Goran.
Shout out.
Jalen, let's give the people what they want.
Give them what they need.
The people want Richard Sherman. The people get Richard Sherman. He's just so honest. He just tells it like it is. He just goes right down the middle. I love Richard Sherman. I cannot wait until he stops this silly football thing and joins us in the sports media. But he's still giving us things to talk about. Here's what he had to say about the NFL and injury reports and gambling. Quote, I guess from what I understand, the rules is for the gamblers, for Vegas, to make sure the odds and everything are what they are supposed to be, which is apparently what the league is concerned about when talking about injuries and things like that. So maybe somebody should look into that, because I thought we weren't a gambling league and we were against all those things. But our injury report is specifically to make sure that gamblers get the odds right. Now, Jalen, we don't like to do research on this program, but we did a little bit of research just to see how much of the NFL is a gambling league. We found this study from the American Gaming Association that said in 2015, this was 2 years ago, $95 billion with a B was estimated to be wagered during the 2015 NCAA and NFL season. $93 billion of that. $93 billion were illegally wagered. We've also saw another study that approximately 60 million Americans were playing fantasy, and that was about a couple years ago. That's got to be up to 70 or 80 million Americans. And we know that people with fantasy leagues don't bet on those leagues at all.
No,
so Jalen, based on all
that.
this information, how much do you think gambling affects the NFL's popularity and its policy?
Not just the NFL, all professional sports. That's why when we talk about fans, whether attending a game, cheering for a player and or a team, and or really getting passionate and or emotional about it, I always peel back the onion and always acknowledge they could be people that have a vested interest because they're actually betting on the outcome. And as a player, injury reports, In football, the concussion report, you brought up the NCAA, in particular during March Madness. It's big business. That's why a friend of the program, Richard Sherman, when he was on, we asked him, should the NFL players strike? This is why I continue to say this. Roger Goodell's about to get his money. DeMaurice Smith is about to get his money. They're going to be in the ring head-to-head trying to figure out ways to iron out a collective bargaining agreement. I say the players, in order to take back the power in just a little fraction of a way, has to hit everybody's pockets. The owners, the league, and the bettors. Once you do that, we really start to listen and pay attention to what you want to get accomplished.
I was absolutely astonished by the $95 billion number. That is a huge industry. That's absolutely gargantuan. I don't even believe that it is real that $93 billion were illegally wagered on football. And it makes sense about these injury reports. One thing I love about the injury reports, they're so silly. The Patriots just lean into the silliness. Tom Brady has been listed as injured, it's some sort of injury on the injury report 132 times, and he has played in all 132 of those weeks in which he was listed as injured. But here's the thing. Richard Sherman wasn't done dropping the tooth bombs there. He was going after the league and, on all the fans and all the gambling. But then he had this to say about his own locker room and his own team's performance. Quote, "We expect it from ourselves. We expect that regardless of what happens on the other side of the ball. At the end of the day, it's really on us," meaning the defense. When he says this sort of thing, it makes me feel that the offense is going to react a certain way and feel a certain way about these comments. Do you think Richard Sherman is being more part of the problem or the solution when he says things like this about his team's performance, whether true or not?
Not about a salary. It's all about reality. In a salary cap-driven sport, you have to find ways to invest in what's important. And when we talk about the Seattle Seahawks and them winning a Super Bowl a handful of years ago, or being one of the better teams in the NFC, what is the nickname, what is the moniker that basically follows their squad around week to week? The Legion of Boom. They play on the defensive side of the football.
It's not the Legion of play action touchdowns.
The notable players getting the big-time salaries in order to be the driving force of the team. Of course, you're going to take care of your franchise quarterback in Russell Wilson. Now, where do you suffer? The Seattle Seahawks have been a squad that has invested the least amount of resources in their offensive line. They have the same issue as the New York Football Giants, a Super Bowl winning quarterback and a terrible offensive line. But the difference is, however, Seattle has a few running backs. They were supposed to invest in Eddie Lacy. Pro Sice was supposed to be the guy. And lo and behold, a rookie was running the football in the previous
Chris
week.
Carson looked great. It seems like they found their guy. This is what's most important, is finding this guy. None of this Richard Sherman stuff matters because Suge Knight is saying that Tupac may very well still be alive. Here is what he had to say to Soledad O'Brien. Suge said, quote, "When Pac died, if he really did, when I left that hospital, me and Pac was laughing and joking. So I don't see how somebody can turn from doing well to doing bad." And then Soledad followed up and asked, "So you seriously think that he might still be alive?" Suge finished with, "I'm going to tell you what, with Pac, you never know." Jalen Rose, is Tupac still alive? If so, what is he doing?
Tupac is definitely not still alive.
What?
No.
His legacy is, however,
What?
it continues to live through his music. More albums have come out, more records from Tupac Shakur have come out since he passed than when he was alive. He has multiple campuses across the United States of America that honor him, whether it's with courses or sheer acknowledgement. And so if he was alive, and the way the rap game has changed in a lot of different ways, and by the way, Tupac had a couple of beefs.
He would come out with some diss tracks. If he was alive, he would have came out with some diss tracks by now. He would have definitely come out with some diss tracks by now.
No doubt. He would not be roaming this earth and not settle and or engage in a couple of those situations.
And here's another thing. If Tupac's alive, he definitely wouldn't be watching that biopic. You know what I mean? He would definitely not back that up. He might come out of hiding just to be like, this didn't happen, this didn't happen, this didn't happen, and they were wrong about this, and I'm much better looking than that guy that played me.
Well, Jada Pinkett has something to say about it. She didn't like the way she was portrayed in a lot of ways as far as their personal relationship.
This made me very happy. Giannis Antetokounmpo is not a free agent when it comes to what team he's going to play for, but he's a sneaker free agent. Various different companies are lobbying for the right to use the Greek Freak and have him as a brand endorser for their shoes. But one company had an extremely aggressive pitch. What Adidas did was basically drive up to his home with a gigantic van full of their latest and greatest sneakers. Yeezys, Boosts. They had everything in there. Classics. Look at that. Duffel bags full of sneakers. Sneakers in boxes. Sneakers out of the boxes. Thon Maker probably came home with some sneakers. There he is next to Giannis. Jalen Rose, one thing I know about you, there's a few things that you love. You love lobster. And another thing you love is free gear. You will wear any free gear that gets sent to you. Yep. If you were Giannis, would this dump of Adidas be enough to make you want to sign with the brand?
Where do I sign?
Exactly. How many trucks?
Where's the pen and the paper?
I don't even need. How many trucks? Can I get one of these every 6 months? One truck every 6 months. That's all I need.
I'll put that in the deal. And you know what I would do? I would get inside the truck and just, can you see me? I hide. Like, can you see me?
I would be very concerned about my closet space. That's what I'd be concerned about. Like, where am I going to put these? Do I get the truck? Do I get to keep the truck? Is the truck part of this, or is the truck going to drive away now? I'm not sure.
I just hope everything fits.
I think it does. I think they know his size. If they had his size like a half a size wrong, I don't know what he's going to do with it. He's going to have a really, really appreciative friend that wears a 14.5. Next, John Paxson finally had something to say about the future of Dwayne Wade with the Cleveland Cavaliers. With the Chicago Bulls.
You said it right.
Wait, I'm sorry. With the Chicago Bulls. He's now on the Bulls, but we all know that this is just one big countdown to when he's on the Cavs. Yep. What day have you predicted that he is on the Cavs?
Worst case for D-Wade and the Bulls, I say it takes place by Christmas.
Ooh, okay.
In the second week of December, all players are now allowed to be traded, even if they recently signed with the team. So that creates a lot more flexibility with the moves you're going to try to make as an organization. Yep. With that being said, however, Dwayne Wade, we know he's a 3-time champion. We anticipate he's going to be in Cleveland playing with LeBron James. Mm-hmm. It's better for both sides once he's talking about it publicly and they're talking about it publicly, and training camp is coming up really soon, and Chicago's a large media market, that if they were to find a way to get it done ASAP, it would actually be better. Yep. Because they're trying to go in a different direction. He's clearly trying to go and get in a different direction. And plus, if they don't get it done, he's going to be taking up a lot of space on the training table.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's going to take up a lot of space on the training table if they don't get it done. He's going to be working the medical
neck
staff.
And my back.
Exactly. He's going to be working the medical staff. And so here's the thing. It's all negotiation. Like, it's one of those things where we all know where this is going to end up. He is going to be bought out. But what percentage of his salary, I think he's getting around $20 million this year, 19 or something. What percentage of that salary do you think he will end up with in his pocket?
In those scenarios, usually the player could get 17 of the 19.
Really? I'm not sure if he's exactly 19. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but something around there.
In this situation, they're probably telling him, we'll give you 10.
10? Yeah, they're like 10. That's where they're starting. It's going to happen. Congratulations,
Coach Collins, my mentor, the basketball savant.
Shout out.
Doug Collins is there now. They brought in Doug. They're like, Doug, first order of business, pay Dwayne Wade. He's like, just pay Dwayne Wade, whatever it takes.
I got a relationship with us. He worked the finals with me a couple of years ago.
We have some huge news courtesy of our colleague and friend, Pablo Torre. Pablo Torre was in Manhattan just minding his own business, being a New Yorker, when he saw another New Yorker, new to the town, minding his own business, a gentleman by the name of, Michael Beasley. What was he doing? He was on the street wearing a wristwatch on his right ankle. This was also backed up by a photo published by Slam magazine. I thought maybe he made a mistake and it was some sort of like alcohol device or some location finder or something like that. Nope, it was an actual wristwatch on his ankle. Wristwatch on his ankle. Is that a failed test?
Not only is it a failed test, since he's already in the program, he's going to be at the front of the line when training camp starts. We need to... Yeah. We need to make sure you in New York City right now. And here's the thing. People usually don't play those games because you don't want nobody to think it's a house arrest.
That's what I thought it was. I was like, Pablo must be making a mistake. But it was a wristwatch on his ankle.
He's the new era Flavor Flav, I guess.
I guess so. I just want to see him get some buckets. I've always rooted for Michael Beasley.
That's
He's
the
one of my
one
favorites.
thing about Be Easy. Lefty gets buckets. He was doing a really good job, especially when he first got to Houston.
Yep. All right. The Browns' offensive superstar, yeah, I said it, offensive superstar Joe Thomas, after the 2-0 start from the 0-2 start from the Browns, he said, quote, "This could definitely be our year." Jalen,
Yay!
what does he mean by this could be our year for the Browns?
Thank you, big fella, and congratulations on your 10,000 snaps. That is an amazing feat, especially playing for a putrid franchise. I will say this, though.
What's that?
I'm cheering because when he says this could be the year somebody else go 0-16, and the Lions ain't the only squad. Yeah! Let's go, Browns!
I can't believe I'm saying this. Is there a single sound that encapsulates how you feel about the Lions start? I don't know why that never gets old to me. This is now getting officially out of control. After they beat the terrible Giants on Monday Night Football, a terrible team, mind you, everyone's going crazy about the Lions. And Matt Stafford is now, and I'm not kidding, at one sportsbook, a 5-1 MVP bet. The same odds for Rodgers or Brady. Homeboy threw for 122 yards on Monday night, and now he is tied with Rodgers and Brady as odds to win MVP. As a Lions fan, how do you make sense of any of this?
Let me see. Rodgers and Brady, they both lost one of their 2 games this year, right?
Are you
Matthew
really doing
Stafford
this?
won both of his games.
Are you really doing this? You're pointing to the record? You're pointing to the record after week 2? That's what you're doing?
Is the reigning MVP who, for some reason, when people have football conversations about elite quarterbacks, he don't get mentioned. No. You got to look at what Matt Stafford's going to be asked to do for the Lions football team.
Oh, can we look at what he's going to be asked to do this Sunday? Because they're playing the Falcons and they're going to get destroyed.
Well, Vic Beasley won't be out there.
I hope he survives.
Up to a month.
I hope Matt Stafford survives. He just got paid a lot of money.
And he's going to be slinging the football around the yard consistently for 16 weeks.
He will also
the
be
yards
slung
will be there.
Around the yard
the
on Sunday.
The touchdown passes will be there. We play in a dome, which is going to help when wintertime comes.
Where do you guys play?
In a dome.
Off the what?
Off the dome. So it makes sense. And again, it's for people like me to get excited about the team. Be like, you know what? I'm going to bet that.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
But I don't bet on sports.
I know you're not. If they beat the Falcons, I will do 10 push-ups on this show. And something tells me I will not.
You know what? I'll be happier if you do the Lions roar. Then the push-up.
I'll do that every week until you guys lose a game, which means I'll never do it again. Moving on. The guy who wrote the baby back ribs jingle for Chili's.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back.
I think you just owe him $1,000 for saying that. The guy who wrote the baby back ribs for jingle for Chili's has never tried a baby back rib. What? Is that shocking to you?
It's perpetrating the fraud.
It makes me like the jingle a little bit less. It's a very solid jingle. Also, pretty good ribs. For a franchise restaurant, ribs can be bad. Sometimes ribs are chewy or whatever. They're pretty tender when you go to Chili's. Just wanted to give you that information. Nothing is more important than this next topic. There is a study that came out that said good sex and getting good sleep is more important than money when it comes to happiness. This doesn't make sense to me, Mr. Rose. What? So you, as the person who we come to answer all things, the all-knowing Jalen Rose, please definitively power rank money, sex, and sleep.
Sex is number 1.
Yes.
Money is number 2.
Okay.
Sleep is overrated.
Sleep is way overrated. Like, oh, come on now. Here's another thing. You know one thing I never really believed? And you can actually answer this question as a rich person. I don't think more money, more problems. I think Biggie had that wrong. I think it's more money, less problems. I really think it is. I think money solves a lot of problems, Jalen. As the rich person on the show, can you confirm that?
That's not what he meant. When he said more money, more problems, I wish he would have added fame somewhere in there.
Oh, okay.
Because what ends up happening is when you're famous or a public figure or work in sports or entertainment, that means people know how much you make. So therefore, usually somebody that has a professional job, Your family and friends don't know how much you make. So therefore, they don't come to you for money, and they don't expect you to take care of them.
More
but
money,
when you're a public figure,
less
now all of a
problems.
sudden you're taking care of more people.
More money, less problems. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for listening on ESPN Radio, for watching on ESPN2, and subscribing to the podcast.
You're far too kind.